It only took them 6 years to go, oh yeah, the audience is right. Why the fuck would you keep all of that in your house? This is probably my hottest take about the whole Conjuring franchise, but this film kind of fucks. Yeah, I'm not saying it's as good as either of the first two Conjuring films, but maybe not even as good as Annabelle Creation, but it is the only other film outside of the first couple of Conjuring films that includes this wholesome family feel along with the frights and scares. And I love that about it. I actually think it's a good film. Of course, it does have the advantage of basically being The Conjuring 2.5. Annabelle Comes Home stars McKenna as the second of at least 3 Judy Warren castings in this series, and Madison Iseman is the babysitter who ain't getting paid enough for this shit. They're alone, mostly, in the Warren house, which, in case you didn't know, contains the biggest collection of spooky and spickly things in the entire world. And when her parents leave town for just one night... By the way, her parents are away in the Conjuring films for like weeks at a time. This is what happens when they're just away for one night? Jesus, Judy. Anyway, the babysitter's friend, threatens her into being allowed into the house for a little while, and red flag for that character. She's not that bad a character, but she is kind of a dick at the same time, and she lets Annabelle out of the case. I think this is as close as a horror film could get to being charming. Honestly, that's a good word to describe it. The wholesomeness of the babysitter and her friend being really good to Judy when she's desperate for friends and has nobody else. Bob's got balls turning up outside with the guitar and crooning to them. My goodness. I mean, on rewatch, I had to go and look up to double check that this was an R-rated film because so much about the execution screams PG-13. It still has a lot of really, well, not a lot, but it has a few really good, scary, spooky moments that really get you. But there's so much about just this kind of vibe of the slumber party gone wrong feels like it should be a PG-13 horror. It also contains, just getting to see the collection of the Warrens set loose a little bit, so many other ideas that I actually want to see as a Conjuring film. More than what we got for the third film, for sure. There was a werewolf case they did. There was that bride thing. These look like awesome films. It's a shame we didn't just get 8 of those properly. The irony of Judy's character suffering from her parents' reputation over the course of this film, when in reality, the real Judy Warren just didn't live in that house. She had such trouble sleeping in that house that she lived with her grandparents for most of her childhood, which is much more depressing, much less wholesome than this series makes it out to be. Anyway, there are some things here, like the TV that shows a few seconds into the future, that feel a bit gimmicky and silly, but overall, it is a fun film with a lot of nice ideas that just kind of focused in. It honed in on the idea that home is where the spooky shit is for these people, okay? McKenna is great. She was just a phenomenal child actor. What a loss her turning 18 is to that industry. And Madison Iseman is wonderful as the kind of perfect, super unrealistic babysitter. She's blonde, pretty, incredibly kind, and doesn't leave you to fend for yourself when coin-faced ghosts start dragging her around the house. It's a perfect sleepover film for people who were the right kind of age at the time, and it's like a Rick and Morty interdimensional cable episode, but for horror fans. And it does have just enough of those proper scares that you want from this franchise that to please you sick freaks, myself included, give you that adrenaline rush that you're looking for, while also just being a lot more fun than the other Annabelle films. The first one just sucked, and the second one was good, but bleak and cold. This feels like a warm equivalent of something like that. Happy. Does that make sense? You know, when they're talking to, Lorraine Warren on the phone, but then she goes, can I speak to Annabelle? There's just good moments, genuinely. And this is the kind of, it's not genius, but it's the level of quality they needed all of their spin-offs to be if they were going to get away with continuing to make as many of these films as they did last decade. So I'm giving Don't Ring There, Anna Doorbell 3.5 stars. We're almost there. We're almost through this whole franchise in time for the new one. We're getting there. And also, if you're enjoying the channel and these videos, there is a new YouTube feature called Hype. I don't really know what it does. Do you? Maybe you should find out. Maybe you should go down there and give this video some hype. I genuinely don't know what it does. It seems like it's a good thing.